Here's something that happens at every company I've worked with. Someone needs data. A simple question. Which customers haven't ordered in 90 days? Or what's our inventory level on this project? And instead of getting an answer, they get a ticket number or a calendar invite for next week or told to learn Power BI. The data exists. It's sitting right there in a database, but there's this wall between the people who need information and the information itself. Let's democratize that data. So today I'm going to tear down that wall. I'm going to connect a database to ChatGPT so anyone, not developers, anyone can just ask questions and get answers. And I'm going to do the whole setup live right now in about 5 minutes. So let's see if I can actually pull this off. All right, I'm in Dream Factory. This is where we can create and manage APIs. I've already got a database connected here called SalesDB that contains all my sales records. What I'm going to do is create what's called an MCP service. You don't need to know what that stands for. Just think of it as a translator that allows AI to talk to your database securely. So I search for MCP. I'm going to select MCP here, and I'm going to scroll down to MCP server service. And here I'm going to be prompted to give it a name. Let's name it something obvious like Sales Data AI. Now, here's the important part. I select which database this AI connection can access. I'm picking my sales database, that's SalesDB. This is where security comes in. You can control exactly what data the AI can see through OAuth protocols. What I'll do now is go ahead and click Save. At this point, all the heavy lifting has been done for us. What I'll do here is come down to Get, try it out, and execute, and I get back my MCP endpoint, which I will add to my clipboard here. And now that that is created, let's jump to ChatGPT. Over in ChatGPT, I go to Settings, and I then go to Apps and Create App. Here, I'll name this something like Sales AI, Sales Database, connected to Dream Factory, and my MCP server URL that I add to my clipboard. And again, for our authentication, we're going to be using OAuth. So lastly, I'll just jump back to that Dream Factory configuration. I will go to that MCP we just created and copy out our OAuth client ID, as well as that OAuth client secret, and add that to ChatGPT. I will authorize OpenAI to connect here, and I will hit create. And that's all it takes. So now in the background, ChatGPT is connecting to Dream Factory via that MCP protocol, and we'll see if we're able to actually talk to that sales data now and actually pull in that urgent request for a report to see what customers haven't ordered in the past 90 days. So it looks like ChatGPT is establishing that connection for us here. It's thinking real hard. And while that is processing, we can look at some of the data that is in that database. We have a list of customers here. We have order items, which is thousands of orders. We have the orders themselves, whether they're processing completed, thousands there. We have our product categories, our products themselves, as well as our sales reps. It looks like ChatGPT is done connecting here, and we can go ahead and see all of the functions that it's able to support, all of the tool calls. And I will close this now. I will add in that sales AI function, and I can start asking questions. So that question from the beginning, customers who haven't ordered in 90 days, let's just ask. So show me customers who haven't placed an order in the last, what do we say, 90 days. And as it is thinking, it is going to hopefully use that sales AI to complete this. So it is looking for available tools. It is now calling that tool. And we're going to have to allow it here as this is the first time being ran. So ChatGPT is going to ask for our permission before connecting here. On the security side, as I previously mentioned, there is a bridge here. So it is not talking directly to our database. It's first talking to Dream Factory, and Dream Factory is then talking to that database. That ensures ChatGPT is never going to overreach and access data that it's not supposed to, as well as perform any actions directly against your database. Nobody wants to be the one responsible for ChatGPT dropping your database tables or writing to your database and changing some of it. So here it is. Here are the customers who have not placed an order in the last 90 days based on today's date. And we can see here some of those customers from that list. And it's going to give us some follow-up questions. But it looks like the full result set contains 134 customers, which is quite a big list. Let's see if we can actually bring this list down a little bit. So this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. I can just simply keep asking. So let's say something like, which of these were high value customers, say over 500,000 lifetime. And this is going to be pretty important, right? I want to know those really valuable customers. Not saying any customers are more valuable than others, but we want to ensure we are taking care of those high-paying customers. So as that runs out in the background, this is going to continue to call those tools, and we can continue to refine that. And now we've reduced that list from 134 down to 32 customers. And it looks like there's some pretty big ones here. This one in the Midwest, Apex Financial. Their lifetime value is getting close to $1 million. What's going on there? Why haven't they ordered from us in the past 90 days? Now I want to prioritize. Let me go a little bit deeper. Let me actually look into Apex Financial here. So order for Apex Financial OTD. So let me actually see what they last ordered and get some more insight as to what's going on. You know, I want to see the order date, products, the amount, everything. This would really have taken 3 days, multiple emails, but with this connection directly from ChatGPT to my database, took me, a couple of minutes? And let's actually see what this wraps up with here. I will allow it, and we should be getting our answer of what their last order could have been. What could have been their last order here? We will see that order number come through, and what you'll notice in that data set is that we have the order number, but what is that actually connected to? I want to know what they actually ordered, the item itself. So it's going to be able to do all of that cross-referencing amongst the database itself, which is really handy. I do want to be clear. I am a technical person, so I could have written SQL queries to get this data, but that's really not the point. The point is that a person who actually needs this information, the sales rep, the account manager, the VP trying to prep for a meeting, they can't write SQL. They've been dependent on people like myself to get answers to basic questions about their own business. What I just set up, it just took less than 5 minutes. And now anyone on the team can access questions and access this data in plain English and get answers in seconds. No more tickets, no more waiting, no more, let me get back to you on that. And if you're worried about security, they can only see what you authorize them to see. The AI doesn't have direct database access. Everything goes through Dream Factory's security layer, and there's a full audit log. This isn't about replacing your data team. It's about freeing them from being a human SQL interface so you can actually focus on the valuable work at hand. As we can see here, that last order came through. Looks like it was completed. We have the order total, all of that information. This was their 9th order. Looks like if we can get a 10th order, we could get them over that $1 million mark. And they've been inactive for 177 days, so this is prime for a re-engagement. Looks like my team's going to have to get on this, but link to get this set up in your organization is in the description. If you're tired of waiting for answers to simple questions, go get this set up ASAP. It takes 5 minutes. You just watched me do it. And if you're the person who's been fielding all of these, can you pull this data requests? You're welcome.